How's it going, everybody? Today, we are back. We were given a second episode, I guess. I guess they have a little bit of faith in us. But they don't have faith in my ability to talk about Star Wars. So we did bring on an expert. If you want to introduce them.
Okay, this guy is as much Canadian as he can be while still holding an American passport. Even though his name, you'd figure he'd be more south of the border, he's as north of the border as he can almost be. Everybody's favorite Fargo, North Dakotan, Taco is with us tonight.
How's it going, E?
Oh, hey.
Fits right in right away.
Perfect.
I spent my first 2 months on doing shows here, sneaking in Letterkenny, Trailer Park Boys, and Strange Brew references, like Great White North references, and no one ever caught me. And I gave up. It was just too easy. It was like shooting fish in a barrel, and I just finally gave up.
So you should have been shooting for, I guess, Trailer Park Boys and Corner Gas. People would have caught your drifts.
I even said Smokes once, I think. I think somebody lit up and I was like, hey, Smokes now. And no one said anything. I was like, really?
Two Smokes.
So now that we've got our guest here, we should talk about what we're going to get into today. We've got some news topics. We're going to talk about the passing of Bob Saget. We're going to talk about Peacemaker is coming out soon, along with a couple other HBO shows if we get to that. Sure. And then we're going to talk some Star Wars, and we're going to talk some Book of Boba Fett because we brought an expert on. And then we're going to talk about some... For our main topic, we're going to talk Succession. And Taco made us watch the first couple of episodes. I took that upon myself to watch a season and maybe some more. So I've got a lot to talk about.
So you hated it.
Yeah, it sucked. Absolutely hated every minute.
I did hate it. Well,
all right. Let's save that for later. I'm about to blow my gasket already. I haven't even finished my first beer.
All
right. So, shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Red green.
In the last week, we tragically lost Bob Saget, and I honestly want to open the floor to you guys because you might be more familiar with his work, because the most memorable thing for me is his work on How I Met Your Mother playing old Ted. Although that is a very memorable role, it is not something everybody would think of immediately. So
does he ever actually show himself in that? It's always just his voice.
Yeah, that last episode, does he show his face?
Does he? I think it's still Ted, isn't it?
I cannot actually remember if he's ever on camera or not, but he does voice the role of the older narration of Ted.
It's on every episode, I guess, right? Because you have to begin it. Yeah. Do they? I guess he splices in there throughout the episode a little bit, right?
Yeah, he does sometimes as punchlines. Do you want to jump on Snark? I would love to say something about Bob Saget.
Sure. I remember, I'm old enough that I remember when Full House first came on. Now, I was never a fan. I was right at that age. I think I came out at when I was 13 or 14. It was just too kind of cutesy, sitcomish for me. And I love sitcoms, but that one, there was just something about it that I never just latched onto. The big thing for me was when America's Funniest Home Video started up, and they got him to do it. And I don't know if you guys realize what a friggin' phenomenon America's Funniest Home Video was when it came out. It was unreal.
Yeah.
It was like the internet before the internet started. It was just fail videos. And then some dry, deadpan bullshit jokes told by Saget and stuff like that. But like when I'll think back to Bob Saget before I start thinking of his movie stuff, like I love Dirty Work. It's one of my all-time favorites.
I was going to talk about it. Yeah.
But like it was just fail videos. It was people slipping on banana peels and that corny laugh track and stuff like that. It was just on, and it was on at like Sundays at 6:00 or something like that. So you had like back when that age, it's not like we had very many choices for television to watch. It was either that or it was 60 Minutes. And I had zero friggin' interest in 60 Minutes when I was 15 years old, 14 years old. So we watched America's Funniest Home Videos. Always hoping that there's be the accidental crotch shot or something like that, or a dog would fall down or something like that. That's all I really ever cared about that, and that's all I really ever cared about the internet for the first few years I was watching it too. What do you remember, Taco, about Saget?
Well, I was a perfect demographic for Full House. Our family watched it. Like it was literally like part of the family, and that show was pretty dear to me growing up. It came on. It was on a run of right after school, and it was before Toonami was on. So I didn't know that like 3 years later, right after school, I'll be watching Dragon Ball Z. So it was a little before that. It was Full House, Even Stevens, and Boy Meets World. I don't know in what order, but right. All three of those were on Disney Channel, and it was reruns at that point. And I think I was in fourth grade. And we watched the crap out of it. And I loved it. And then growing up, when the roast of Bob Saget happened on Comedy Central, it is probably the most influential roast and probably one of the most influential things when it comes to stand-up comedy for me, because it made me fall in love with Norm Macdonald for a completely new way. And I think the fact that we lost Norm last year and Bob Saget this year, they were best friends. Like they really were. And not even Saget knew that Norm was sick, and it hit him super hard. And he put out like an hour-long YouTube channel or YouTube video on a channel he didn't even have developed just so he could talk about it. And
heartbreaking.
It was very heartbreaking because it was his friend and it was sudden. And even though he's had cancer for 10 years and no one knew about it or whatever it was. So them being so close and me strongly associating them together because of the roast of Bob Saget and also my love for Dirty Work, which he directed and Norm was in. I feel like we need to hide Artie Lang. Like, how did Artie Lang out of those three live? Like, he's the heroin junkie.
This shit. Artie's gonna be 108 years old by the time.
I know.
He's mostly just poison now.
But yeah, I'm sure he's having a rough time right now too, and it just sucks. I've liked him throughout his career and how influential he was for comedy for me, and especially him in the documentary Aristocrats. I can't quote any of it right now. I literally cannot. But if you want to find the documentary Aristocrats, he is amazing in that. His iteration of that joke is top notch.
I went to see that movie in a theater, and my buddy and I, there was maybe 15, 20 people in there. Two people directly in front of me must have been 70 years old.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure they bought tickets to the Aristocats.
Yeah.
Because by the time the show is 20 minutes old, you get the gist of what the show is. And they didn't make it the 20 minutes. I can tell you that.
No, and if they made it to Bob Saget's section, because they'd be like, why is Danny Tanner saying that thing about his blank and he's going to do blank to blank blank?
And the family that,
Yeah, so it hit me really hard. Comedy-wise, he's been very influential in my life and just in a lot of the comedy circles that I followed. And yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, he was the first guy that Norm Macdonald ever saw live. Saw him in Ottawa. And so it really just set Norm on his path of what he wanted to do with his life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a goddamn shame. And so young, like 65 years old.
And we have they got out and said what it was? They just said it was no foul play and
and there was no drug paraphernalia or anything.
There was none.
Okay. No, but
I don't want to speculate. That's horrible.
Yeah, if the family wants us to know, they'll let us know.
Yeah,
I speculate ninjas.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Really?
Yeah.
Way to,
Just I knew.
way to bring it back with comedy, Dan. Woo!
Hey,
Yeah.
why not? So, yeah, if anyone else were looking in the comments, yeah, America's Funniest Home Videos. I kind of caught the tail end of that as well. When I was growing up, I actually watched a lot of them with my friend, and we were watching them, and then once that show was over, we were going on to YouTube and just looking at the exact same fail videos, but stretched out. And yeah, so I honestly didn't even put those two together, but
they were on at the same time, and they were both smash hits. Like Funniest Home Videos and Full House were on the exact same time. He was the star of like the two biggest television shows.
Yeah, like America's Funniest Home Videos was a friggin' phenomenon. It was unbelievable how popular that show was.
And I'm sure it's hard to find a top 10 sitcoms of all time without finding Full House in the top 5. I bet it's hard to. Like, well, I'm family sitcoms. I guess comedy sitcoms probably not.
What was the name of that block they had? It was like that and
Step by Step and Family Matters.
Yeah, all those shows were like family viewing kind of.
See, that's why I hold Full House as high as I do, because it was in the era of like Family Matters, Step by Step, like way better than those.
I like Family Matters better.
Well, that's just Urkel jokes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Oh my God, who would Bob Saget play in Star Trek: The Next Generation?
Cute.
I do not know enough. Can he be one of the robots like Data? Funny. He's kind of got a robotic face.
I think he looks like Q. He could pull off a Q, maybe a little like more quick-witted Q.
Right. I'm gonna show my Star Trek cards, but what's the bartender dude with the face of Frankie? Is that what that race is called?
Sure, yeah. Quark.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Well, like the giant brow that somehow turns into an ear.
A Ferengi.
Ferengi.
Yeah.
You can play one of those.
Sure, why not?
Absolutely. Okay, so if we want to move on to HBO has a bunch of different things coming out this week, and have you seen this Peacemaker trailer and show that's about to come out? I honestly still have the Suicide Squad on my list, so I haven't even seen his introduction yet. But
seen the new Suicide Squad?
I have not.
It is delightful.
I watched it yesterday.
I plan to.
I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I think I only made it through 15 minutes of the first one.
Yeah.
I thought it was terrible.
It's much better in the first one.
Yeah, and I hear about this Peacemaker stuff, and they're going to make a TV show out of this guy. So it's like, great. I was pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed it. It was not a slog to get through, at least.
I loved it. Like, without getting into it, I'm like into spoilers for Suicide Squad. I'm a big, or is it the Suicide, whichever one it is, the Suicide Squad, whatever, the frickin' the James Gunn one, Guardians of the Suicide, whatever they call it. Suicide of the Guardians, Suicide of the Galaxy.
It's okay. We're a TV podcast, not a movie podcast, right. So we don't need to know its name.
But the fact that it did deep dives into these anything that grabs the C-list and D-list heroes, I'm like, because comic books are so rich that you can make a good show out of the Impossible Man. You can make a good show out of these random people, and the fact that like they gave a arc and like something really serious to Polka Dot Man, and he became like a good character. That's the stuff where I'm like, yeah, man, comics are so rich. Dig into it. I know that's movies. Okay, jeez, Dan. Let's talk about movies. Is the name of the show? Thanks for showing up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, so I'm really excited to watch Peacemaker. The only reason I haven't, like, I will when it comes out. I'm a big HBO guy, as we'll talk about later. But the only reason I haven't watched the trailer yet is he was probably like the least interesting thing in it. Like nothing against John Cena, because I like John Cena as he's got comedic chops, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just hasn't really like that character out of all them didn't really speak to me as much as other characters in that show.
The only character that I felt really didn't fit was Harley Quinn. That whole
But she had to
tacked in, but you had to have it to have a sequel, I guess. But
yeah,
I thought Cena did a good job. I like that Steve Agee is going to be in the television show as well. I saw that those two from the end or whatever from The Office are going to be in it. I love that he has a bald eagle as a sidekick. I think played for laughs. This show could be pretty good.
Watching the preview and not really knowing anything about his character other than what I watched there, I still don't know what his character is, but everything I watched seemed amusing, so I wasn't going to go push it because I liked what I was watching, and I kind of planned to tune in on Thursday. But also there were a couple of other shows that I wanted to talk about because I just noticed they both had season 2 premieres on Sunday. Okay. And that was and neither of these shows I had seen, but both of them were on my list. And that's Righteous Gemstones and Euphoria. Okay. I watched a good bit. I watched a good bit of Euphoria. I'm again almost done season 1 now. And Righteous Gemstones, I watched 2 episodes. I plan to watch more, but there's only so many hours.
Righteous Gemstones is a show I started watching when it first came out and really enjoyed it. But I was watching it while I was helping take care of my dad because they had Crave, so I could watch it. And I could only watch it after everyone had gone to bed, really. So I had enough time to watch one episode here, another episode later on I'd watch. Loved it, but time goes by without watching it, just out of sight, out of mind, and I just didn't get back into it. But with everybody talking about season 2 now, it's in my head. It's like, yes, I gotta go finish season 1. I've gotta start watching season 2 because it's great. I loved Eastbound and Down, and
Vice Principals.
Yeah, Vice Principals, another great one. Even though I'm not that big of a John Goodman fan for some reason. He's
what?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I don't like John Goodman, for Christ's sakes.
You're not just saying that to be a troll right now? Like,
no, I don't know what it is. I don't know. Like, I grew up with Roseanne, and Roseanne was fine and stuff like that. It's just when he puts in other things, I just don't.
Big Lebowski?
Well, yeah, Big Lebowski.
Come on.
There's always going to be an outlier.
But he's so good.
It's not like I watched the movie to see, John Goodman.
Well, I do.
Things like Arachnophobia and the Flintstones, all these things and stuff like that. I just never really cared because Goodman was in it.
That's 90s Goodman. You're talking he was so good in David Simon's Treme to bring it back to TV. Like he's been really good for really long. Like,
sure, and everybody loves him. I don't get it. I don't understand why I don't like him, but I don't.
To talk about,
I liked him in this. I liked him in that show. Like, he's good in the Righteous Gemstones. He's great.
I didn't watch all of Gemstones, so I give almost everything in HBO a chance. And by a chance, I mean I play it. Like, I don't give it the full 3-episode thing, especially now that I have a kid. This is before I had a kid, so I can't say too much. But yeah. I think I did the full episode, and I just wasn't. It didn't really make me laugh. Maybe it was where I was at. I don't know if it was a mental thing, but I was like, I don't know, it's not really grabbing me. And like Vice Principals did, Eastbound and Down, of course, did.
So good.
But yeah, I love Eastbound and Down. But Euphoria was amazing.
Yeah, I found Gemstones was the second, and it was really the second episode, and I watched a bit of the third. That is what really drew me in, because you are kind of. I felt similarly about the first one. The premiere was very much a slow burn, and it was something I'm not used to watching. And also, like the content of it is just a different angle as well. So I honestly really wasn't sure until I got into the second and third episodes, and I was like, oh, okay, like I'm starting to see what's going to be happening in this. And
I had that same feeling where you had to push through the first episode, and
Well, I'll give it another
second
chance.
episode much better. The third episode's great.
Because I love the idea of lampooning megachurches, you know, because, well, I'm a heathen. I'm a nihilist heathen anarchist. Of course, I like the idea of
just it's a trope for North Dakota.
What? We're like a hard Christian right state. Like I have to be careful where I say that in my real life AFK, if you will. But now about Euphoria. I watched all the first season, and it was amazing. It had some of the hardest scenes I've ever had to get through. Both involving, I wish I could just pull this actress's name, but she was just in White Lotus too, which was really good as well, also an HBO show. But there was just two of these really rough scenes, and one of them was, I want to give it away, but let's just say it was something that, like, if I were to tell you what it is, you'd be like, that's, a bad thing, or that's going to be awkward, or it's going to be a hard scene to get through. And this girl has to go and do this thing. Again, I'm not going to do any spoilers, but she puts her headphones on and she imagines that it's her song that she figure skates to. And it goes into her head, and she's figure skating to this beautiful song during this really rough procedure. And it travels you into her head as she's zoning it out. And it was so powerful to me. And it was like, I think Euphoria is amazing. I haven't watched the first episode today because I had other stuff going on, of season 2, but I will. And I do need to go and watch. During COVID, during the pandemic, they came out with like a special for 2 different characters, like 2 different specials for 2 characters. And I do want to go back and watch those. But besides that, I'm all in for Euphoria. It's amazing stuff.
That is part of my confusion of the whole show. And it really likes to play with timelines. So like you really need to be paying attention when you're watching it. And especially those last few episodes and the 2 specials will jump from one moment in time to a different moment. And if you blink, you're like, wait, what month are we in now? Because there's something else. And I really like that they capture a lot of different like issues. And like I feel like I know and definitely have in my life met a number of those characters. So it's very interesting and personal.
And being somebody who is like a generation older than them, like not too far, but like I didn't go through high school with the technology we have now. We were like just getting there, and I didn't have a cell phone in high school. Almost everybody else did, like I didn't get one until I went to college. But like, of the idea of like how, nude pictures and Twitter and then leaks and all this stuff. It's just for them. It's not a tragedy. It's like part of it, where somebody would be like, well, if you send your boyfriend a boob pic, everyone's going to see it. You just live with that. I'm like, what? People just accept it now? What the, like, and it's this like getting into it's not afraid to show you this reality that we live in right now for teenagers. And it's really powerful. I love that show. I'm now talking about it. I just want to go watch it.
Guys, I'm 47 years old. I am the exact same age as the Degrassi kids. Not
the second one.
This generation. The Degrassi kids. The kids of Degrassi, then it was Degrassi Junior High, and then Degrassi High, like Joey Jeremiah and stuff like that.
So you're like the janitor in the background when they recast it all?
No shit, no. The most controversial thing I think that happened on that show was that Spike got pregnant. I have a feeling that this is a whole lot different than Degrassi.
There is, like, when we're in the green room, not mostly spoilers, but also it's some rough stuff. But when we're in the green room, I can drop like one or two things, and you're gonna be like, "What? They do that?" Like, yeah, and it's played for very straight, like, not for laughs, and it's hard to get through. And it's like the second episode.
To be fair, guys,
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of Degrassi either.
I wasn't Canadian.
What the?
What?
Yeah, still
What?
not.
How dare you?
I didn't know what Degrassi was until I was in college, and I had a TV that just had like one local station, and it was just like on, and I'm like, "What's this Degrassi?" And I like watched an episode, and then I never thought about it ever again. And then I no, it was an episode with Drake, like in a wheelchair. Yeah. And then I brought it. I remember I was then right when I met my now wife, she had like 3 seasons of Degrassi on like DVD, and I'm like, is that like really bad TV show? It's like, yeah, I love it. And then she told me all about it. That's the only way I even heard about Degrassi.
Has an audience, that's for damn sure.
Well, this is like if Degrassi was on steroids and meth at the same time and it got knocked up. That's what freaking Euphoria is. So watch it.
All right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No, it's actually really fun. Like,
It's good.
I've been surprised by both like some of the performances and also just, again, you were talking about the insane content that they're not shying away from, which is very cool. But yeah, also like to watch, you know, what could be some of, and let's say some of the not shining actors of the next generation, but also some of the really rising stars.
Yeah, watching any of the new Spider-Mans and then watching season 1 of Euphoria, you're not going to be able to take like Zendaya as MJ the same. Like, you're like, when she's not hanging out with Peter, she's into some shit. Like it's really hard to look at that actress and in separate how powerful and almost like, I want to say defining for her in Euphoria and Spider-Man at the same time. Like, it's so weird because they're like these parallel, very different roles, and it's almost hard for me to watch Spider-Man because I'm like, oh, yeah, I love it.
I do understand what you're saying. Like, there are shades of the same. Like, it's in that look, like the look of like 1,000-yard stare, where she's always kind of looking past the person into the middling distance.
It's because she's numb. Yeah.
Yeah, that does a lot.
Sounds like a ball of fun.
Well, here's something fun. She captures the numbness of being a drug addict so well. and her character's like 17, and growing up the way I grew up, I'm like, wow, you sadly really mastered that. Holy crap.
Yep.
Do we want to move on to something a little more cheerful? Yeah. We probably should have did Peacemaker after.
Zendaya's not in. We were trying to, like, you know, spread it out a little bit. There's a lot of sad things to talk about this episode, and a lot of less sad things. But moving into away from HBO, away from a lot of things we were just talking about, and well, I mean, we're going to the Star Wars universe, Taco. What are you doing?
my first favorite universe after my second. HBO, honestly, is my favorite streaming service.
Wow.
But that's because I can watch Sopranos and The Wire over and 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 over again. So
yeah. It's kind of like when Disney Plus got How I Met Your Mother. I was like, do I really need a new service? I have Star Wars, I have Marvel, I have How I Met Your Mother. I think I'm good now.
That's it? Just the 3 universes, that's it.
Well, then I got Futurama, and things got even better. So it's like, who knows? Disney is going to destroy the world by buying all of it. But let's digress into the world of Boba Fett.
Yeah. I'm in.
I have a big question off the bat. is it known or a good
is
thing
known.
or a bad thing that Boba Fett teaches the Raiders how to ride?
Okay. You just had to. That's how we start.
It's literally the first thing I thought of watching the episode. I was like, is this a thing? Is it a good or bad thing?
It bugged me, but that's fine. It's allowed to bug me. The fact that Tuskens literally are so confused by technology, and it's always been their thing. I'm not I'm gonna be very freaking kind, honestly. But here's the thing. It all came to execution, and they executed it well. Mm-hmm. Okay, you can try something. Star Wars doesn't have to say one way. You can attempt things. The only thing I really liked from the sequel trilogy is when, like Rian Johnson tried some stuff. They went back on it, but at least he tried something. I like when you try to introduce something new in Star Wars. It's good, it's bold, I like it. Mm-hmm. If you pull it off. And I think they did. I didn't realize that I ever wanted to see that actor do comedy until now, but when he's like trying to explain the motorbike, and he's like, "It's like Banzai!" I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I had to look around, like I'm not hallucinating this scene.
I've been enjoying the Tusken part, the Sand People part, much more than I have the inner working mobster part for sure. But I guess we're seeing more of the Tusken Raiders than we are of his world building. I was pretty stoked when I saw Hammerhead. But
they're called Ethorians. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes. See.
How many aliens do I have to do it to every alien? I swear, if you call Hutts the big slug people, I will leave.
I know I know those ones are Hutts, but I just know he had that blue jumper or whatever, orange jumper when he was an action figure. That's all I know. It said Hammerhead.
I like. So here's my comment on what you said about how you're enjoying the Tusken stuff more than like the Underworld Gangster stuff. Mm-hmm. I think the reason why they're going this route is because you can't jump in. They're building the Underworld Gangster stuff, right? Like you can't just dive right at, you can't Goodfellas it. Like he can't just open up a trunk and stab Billy Bats. And then as far back as I always remember, I always wanted to be a bounty hunter. They can't do that. So they had to slowly build the gangster stuff, but then maybe instead of just making those episodes really slow, they found ways to give us really cool and actually really captivating action. And it was explaining how he got out of the Sarlacc pit, how he made I did not know how much I wanted to see a gaffy stick get made until now. I just thought they were metal spikes. And then when he made it, I was like, I want a freaking gaffy stick. Like I didn't know that they're that cool.
I was gonna ask what those things were called. I remember them from the toys and stuff like that. But yeah, I remember that stuff, but I didn't know what they were called. Well,
I think it was executed really well. I like all the Tusken stuff.
Do you think the mayor part was that more of a red herring, like with those assassins or whatever? It looks like maybe they were hired by the Hutts and not the mayor and stuff like that.
I don't trust that mayor as far as I can throw him.
Of course you can trust him.
He was freaking voiced by somebody else pull it. Robert Rodriguez.
Really?
Yeah, he's one of the directors. I think he directed the first episode. Yep. And that right there makes me love him. He's my third favorite character of all time now, because it was I think like Robert Rodriguez did this really understated hello thing. Ooh, nom, give me that. The fact that they're giving an Ethorian character development, that's my nerdism right there. Is give me existing aliens I've always seen and used in role-playing games, and you can play them. Give me them with personalities, and that's what I want. I would love to see these always been background aliens be humanized. Mandalorian did it a little bit, and now they're doing it here, and I love it.
Are you expecting anybody else to show up? How Boba Fett kind of shows up in The Mandalorian. Who are you expecting to see, like, from the extended universe, I guess, in this show?
I didn't expect to see Black Chrysanthemum, but we already saw him. So that was that giant Wookiee. So that giant black-haired Wookiee is Black Chrysanthemum. I'm going to plug our Bounty Hunters tier list episode. I'm pretty sure we gave him like A or S tier for our Bounty Hunter tier list. He goes toe-to-toe with old Ben Kenobi, and that's actually where his scar is from. So the scar, he gets it in the comics by Ben Kenobi. And the only thing I didn't like is how they acted like Boba didn't really recognize him because they used to work together. So maybe, see, the gladiator thing confuses me because he goes, oh, you got this gladiator. And that sounds like they're not giving him the character. Like normal fans will be like, oh, he's like some Wookiee gladiator. But really, it's a deep dive in the fact that Black Chrysanthemum fought his way through slavery as being a gladiator. But I feel like it was just too understated as an Easter egg. And it wasn't, it was hard to read that Boba knew him, Yeah.
And like if you presume and know all of those things, it is a little bit because, he's not acknowledging him as a fellow bounty hunter. He's like, oh, look at this fucking gladiator, just like dismissing him.
Yeah.
And great diss, but I didn't catch any of that because I don't know who that dude is.
It's Black Chrysanthemum, and he's a beast. He went toe-to-toe with Chewie, and I think Chewie beat him. Yeah.
He looks like a beast, honestly. I don't wanna fuck with that guy. And I was gonna ask about like the twins, and who are they? And
so they're not established characters. So we know so they're supposed to be cousins. So one would assume that they're cousins of Jabba. So the only uncle that we know about is Zero the Hutt. So it would be Zero's kids, and Zero was this is so weird, but very Truman Capote-esque Hutt. I know.
Okay.
So they took this Hutt and gave him that like. But he didn't speak Huttese. He spoke in common, but he spoke like Truman Capote. But like, oh really? I can't do Truman Capote. I can't. But I wish I could do Truman Capote. That's one of the coolest accents ever. And honestly, me thinking about Zero the Hutt made me go back and watch Zero the Hutt stuff, which made me want to watch Capote. That's what I did. I almost watched Capote this week because of that weird reference. That was a nerd rabbit hole I fell down. So the only son we've ever heard about, or the only child that we heard about from Zero the Hutt wasn't like these twins. So we don't know if they're just saying, oh, we haven't heard about them before, but they're Zero's kids. Or maybe they're just completely different cousins. Maybe they're using cousins in a different way. So to answer your question, no, I don't know who they are.
Is Zero a Clone Wars character?
Yes.
This is a character that Filoni had already come up with. So okay.
I mean, it would be cool. I would love to see any of the big Hutt Council that we have seen in Clone Wars, both the movie and the TV show. I got a question for you guys.
Sure.
Did it bug you that they went CG for the Hutts?
No.
Did for me. I want a practical Hutt so bad because go back and watch Return of the Jedi. That Hutt freaking not even costume, like contraption, is one of the coolest effects in all of Star Wars. It just is. I love it. You got this little dude who just job is to be in the tail, moving it around. There's a midget in the tail moving around. It's insane. Yeah, it's so cool.
I think this time around it doesn't matter, but I do think if they are going to be moving around more, I hope they do it later. Like if they're not blowing the entire budget to drag a giant Hutt around, I do understand that too. But
I know.
once or twice, yes, a practical one would be awesome.
Were you one of the guys that was waiting for a Boba Fett show? Like, were you hoping you'd get a Boba Fett show?
I'm gonna sound so freaking pretentious. Not really. I've seen Boba's story in Legends. It exists. I mean, like, Boba's gotten out of the Sarlacc pit like 8 times by now, and you know, like, and they just erased him. But I am at the point where I don't care what I get when it comes to Star Wars. You can tell me they're going to give me a Salacious B. Crumb spinoff.
Right.
That was the name of the Croaky and Monkey.
I know who
Lizard.
that is.
All right. But the only thing I want is for good performances, good writing, good direction. That's it. You can give me a story about freaking anything as long as you take it serious. And that's what Mando is. We didn't know who Mando was, but it was taken very serious and it was done right. And now I love it. They can make it about anything. I mean, I would love to dive into Old Republic stuff or canon High Republic stuff since it's canon. I just gave me explore a new time period, but that's because I love lore. But I'm loving this.
Mandalorian had an advantage because he was a brand new character, right? You weren't going to be falling to anybody's expectations. You weren't going to reach anybody's expectations. Brand new character, brand new lore. You could do whatever you want with it. But nerds have been clamoring about Boba Fett since I was a kid. Like, that was a friggin' long goddamn time ago, and so I was happy. Like, he, like, Sarlacc pit or burps after you eat him and stuff like that. He's done.
And it was one of the worst.
I never went home and said, "Mom, I'm heartbroken that Boba Fett died."
And it's played off as such a gag, and it bothers me. Like, I hate Boba Fett's death.
Boba Fett?
Boba Fett, where? Oh, did I accidentally kill the most freaking powerful bounty hunter in the galaxy? Yeah. Oh, oops. Our private chat said that Dave has a Zero the Hutt ready. Is that what I feel like? Oh, that's just a pick. Okay, cool.
Oh,
that's
God.
Zero the Hutt. So he has a Joe Capote or a Truman Capote voice. Yeah.
Okay. I was kind of worried that he I don't know. Yeah, had much worse things in mind.
Had the adult parody of Zero the Hutt. Oh no!
We are getting about to our main topic. So if you had anything else you wanted to talk about before we get into that.
Well, don't give me that. I'll never shut up.
In the chat, it was brought up, like, what did we think of the Rancor fake out?
Oh,
I kind of like that. Yeah.
How long after Jabba the Hutt died does this take place?
Mandalorian was
7 years. Is that right?
Well, Mando, I believe, was 9 ABY, which would be 5 years after Return of the Jedi. I'm pulling this up on the top of my head, so I might be wrong.
Yeah. So,
so this is probably 4 to 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, after Return of the Jedi.
You think these guys didn't hear that the Rancor got
6
killed?
years. Okay.
This guy goes, "Oh shit, the Rancor!" Like, no one heard that the Rancor got killed. It was, a Jedi goes into Jabba the Hutt's place, burns the friggin' thing down, and kills a Rancor, and none of these guys heard about it. But whatever.
It seems a little exciting that a Jedi showed up at all.
Yeah, maybe they're just not talking about that because Jabba doesn't want to talk about the Jedi that got away. Plus, he died.
Yeah, like so much happened that weekend.
There was a lot of mysterious circumstances surrounding.
Everyone's mind. Like, oh.
Did the Jedi even go into the Rancor pit? No, the Rancor's fine. Don't worry about it. Like,
relax.
It's like when a least favorite or least famous celebrity dies the same day as a famouser celebrity. Like everyone's like, "Oh my god, the Rancor died," and like the next day Jabba died, so no one was talking about the Rancor anymore.
Yeah. Interesting week at the palace. All right, shall we leave this galaxy and travel to a very well-known galaxy called HBO yet again?
More dark side stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Succession. I've seen that.
Yes. You decided to have us watch Succession, and we'll just keep it to the first 3 episodes for this. time, but for this segment, we were thinking of essentially doing not a book report, but a watch along report. And in the future, we plan to, like, both with the chat and with our guests, discuss a show that we're going to watch and maybe do one of these reports once a month. If we watch a season in that month, we'll talk about that season. If we only get through half of it, we'll only talk about half of it. But
It's a lot of TV, guys.
Yeah, we'll see how we get through this.
I'm assuming we're gonna go as least spoilery as possible, just because I want people to hear this and go and watch it, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody. You know?
True, but
Yeah.
I think we can talk about some spoilers, especially this is only the first 3 episodes. There are 3 seasons of it now, so I'm not super worried about spoilers.
Well,
and
you know how the first season ends, so just don't go there.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about anything past that 3rd episode. Like,
Okay, good.
definitely. And enough happens in those 3, so.
I went back and rewatched them for this because I didn't know, what was in season or episode 1, 2, 3, or 4. Like I had to get that clear, and it feels so different. And I like these first 3 episodes, but it was almost jarring because these first 3 episodes, this show's really good at starting you off small. These are these characters and this is this family. But by the time you're in season 3, there are so many storylines that leave and show back up and leave and show back up. And at almost any moment, you can be blindsided by this like huge, insane, destroy the whole world as you know it thing. And there's like 9 of them floating around at all times. And it's almost refreshing to watch these first 3 episodes where I was like, it's just these guys, just a family.
It's a time. It's a time for these billionaires.
Rob, how many episodes did you watch?
So the thing was,
am I allowed to call you Rob?
Sure. Well, okay. It's my name.
No, it's Robba the Snark, obviously.
No one ever calls me Mark. Not a one person calls me Mark.
Well, so, there's people that call me Rob, people call me Snark. Either one is works. So I started out the same way. Like I was kind of laid up this week, and I got that trendy new virus that's been going around and stuff like that. So I had a few days off here. So I figured I'll do my 3 episode watch and stuff like that. And by the end of the first episode, I fucking hated everybody on that show.
Good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
I hated everybody.
Good. You know what? That means that you are a normal human being.
Yeah.
And you like if you're like, I'm really feeling Roman, right? He's just got like this vibe. I'd be like, no.
Not one redeeming person. And all my favorite shows, there's always an asshole, an asshole protagonist, like Jeff Winger from Community. He's a fucking asshole, but you're sprinkled in with goodness around it and stuff like that. So there's something else to bounce off. Faulty Towers, Basil Fawlty, a huge fucking asshole.
Yeah,
but there's all good people around him that everything kind of bounce off.
Good topical reference, so the audience has a good comparison.
I do think
I love Faulty Towers.
I think Frank is a good guy, but that's all I can think of.
Just Frank.
Yeah.
Cousin Greg.
Oh yeah. Well,
he's a dick. But I did the same thing the Frenchie did. I don't know what it is about this show about a family I can't stand and peripheral characters I can't stand. I watched the whole goddamn season.
Yeah. Like you finished the season?
Yeah, I finished the first season.
Oh my god, I'm so happy. All right. So do we want to give like a back of how about this to keep it the book report analogy? The opening flap synopsis. I can do that on the top of my head if you want me to.
Sure, yeah.
Since I pitched the show. So Succession is a story about a Murdoch-esque family that is the patriarch is played by Brian Cox, who's in charge of a media empire, and Jeremy Strong gives a very amazing method acting performance that people are literally concerned for him after this last season. It was a big thing that came around. As Kendall,
Right.
Huh?
Is that Kendall?
Yeah, Kendall.
Okay,
So Jeremy Strong plays Kendall, who isn't the oldest, but he is the oldest who's in the business, because Alan Ruck plays the oldest, and Connor becomes an amazing character. Like season 3.
He's the one
I
person
can't
that
wait.
kind of took me out of the universe every once in a while because I kept thinking about Ferris.
Old bread.
Yeah,
Okay.
I kept thinking about them taking his dad's car to Chicago and stuff like that. So yeah, I had Cameron frying my head.
Come to think of it, I don't hate Willa either.
I love Willow. Yeah, so Willow. And then
he's a person.
You have Roman, who is the youngest of the family, who is played by Kareen Culkin, and probably my it's hard to say my favorite performance. It's probably tied with like my top 3 performances on the show. Right. And he plays, it's hard to call him a sexual deviant because you don't really know what's going on with him sexually. You're not really sure. When you think that he's a deviant, you find out he doesn't even bang his own lady, and you're like, so what do you do? Like, what is happening? And that never leads up. People are calling him like Kendall's or like Roman sexual, like on because no one really knows what the heck he is.
Sure.
So it's apparently, or the storyline very broadly is Brian Cox is getting older in age, or Logan Roy is getting older in age, and they're trying to figure out who will be taking over the company when he dies. And that sounds so bland, but you really do have to give it a chance. This is my favorite example of any show can be good if the performances are amazing, which they are, if the writing is amazing, which it is, and if the direction's so good. I think the camera work in this movie or this TV show is like some of my favorite ever. Like it just is so good.
I was surprised when I started the show to see it was an Adam McKay, Will Ferrell thing. Is this the last thing they started producing together?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I know they produce it. None of them are showrunners, but both of them are. Yeah.
Yeah. And I knew that McKay directed the first episode to kind of give it its look. And I've seen some of the other directors that have done it, Adam Arkin and stuff like that, for example, some big time television directors. It definitely has its own feel to it, its own look. It keeps playing the same song, that theme song throughout it. Yeah.
I love it.
The same kind of feel every single episode. Well, for this first season, anyways, until that last episode.
I'm so glad you guys made it through that first season. That's so cool.
And also there is like an element of like Game of Thrones almost, like the politicking that is going on.
So good.
It is as if you're just watching like one family. I mean, it is watching one family cannibalize itself for power, but that is ultimately so fun to watch, and you want them to succeed just as much as you want them to fail. It's like a perfect showdown heel.
Anyone to succeed. I want all fail. I hope this family.
Well, yes, but if they succeed, it keeps going.
This is all I'm hoping about.
Like, you want them to keep failing upwards because then they'll get into further shenanigans, is kind of what I mean. So you do not want them to fail, but you also want to watch them fail because these people fucking deserve it.
Yeah, I'm rooting for no one, but I
want
fascinated.
I want to give a shout out to this last season, season 3, I haven't had anybody talk with this show about. And so I do what any person does. I look at YouTube reviews so I can pretend I'm having a conversation with somebody.
Oh boy.
So The Ringer has been doing the best ones. So I watched like a few people, and these are the ones that made it all the way through this entire third season. I watched all of their third season reviews, and they have been doing a very great job, and they've been picking apart all the commentary on consumerism that this show does. And there's such this Oedipal complex, literally both sides. You have one sibling that constantly is talking about or like literally trying to destroy his father, you know, like that part of the Oedipal. And then you have another sibling where it becomes a running joke by like the third season that they just want to bang their mom, because he'll like make comments about any older lady, and then like they'll make a joke where I don't want to give anything away, but somebody's throwing a party and they have to walk through like a pink tube, and someone's like, one of them's like, oh, does mom know you're borrowing her vagina?
Wow.
And then one character says to another one, it's like, it's okay, I was gonna let you borrow it after the party. And he's like, yes. And so that's how like in on the joke the show is. That's how edible it is. It's so bonkers and off the wall, but taken so serious. It's one actor literally thinks that they're in the best comedy that's on right now, and then Jeremy Strong says that he feels like he's starring in the modern Hamlet. That's how different two actors are taking this. That's just how good this show is, that it's both an amazing drama and the best comedy. It's so good.
What drew you to the show first? What drew you to the show first? Like, you're flipping around. I know you're an HBO guy. Is that just the thing? It's like HBO has a new show coming out.
That's what it was. Yeah. I like the trailers. I watched it. Plus, I'm gonna take anything with Brian Cox. And Brian Cox in like an actual series, he is a tour de force. Like the fact this guy has not got an Oscar, he needs to just like do one Oscar bait movie, get his freaking Oscar because he's good enough, and then go back to doing television. He's
too much TV now. One thing I like about Logan Roy is that they've made him basically Canadian as well.
He is Canadian.
Yeah.
He's from Dundee, Scotland,
but was raised in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
His brother.
Yeah, in Montreal by a French Canadian. That's actually why I have my Daniel Roy at the bottom here.
Are there any decent people from Quebec?
Absolutely not. I say that as a non-decent person from Quebec. There are none.
Yep. Okay.
The only thing we have going for us is we're simultaneously younger and older than America, and that's a weird thing to be.
Maybe it's just because all I know about Canada is from the Great White North, Trailer Park Boys, and Letterkenny, but I'm pretty sure every female from Montreal is a 10. That's what I've learned from Letterkenny. Whenever they go to Quebec, it's always like, holy crap.
You know, poutine comes from Quebec, and yards of beer come from Quebec. There's great things about Quebec as well. So what happens in the first 3 episodes of the show? We're introducing the Roy family, and then Logan gets his stroke.
Yeah.
That's all developed within the first episode. And the game, what did you think of that scene with the kid when they're playing the game out on the island?
I thought Roman...
Yeah.
That was one of the hardest things to watch ever. If I was a poor person, if I was anybody, if I was just hanging out in that park for the public bathroom, I would have punched that guy in the face, and I would have got shot by security guards. Would have been worth it.
I mean, like on one hand, like, I guess the kid did still get like $15,000 because they got that watch. But
left on the counter.
Like, also, I felt so bad, and honestly, up until that moment, we were talking about irredeemable characters. I thought Roman might be the one good character in the show, the one good member of the family, and then he does that shit.
It doesn't feel super spoilery. Should we describe the scene just like as a
the first episode of is now 30.
It's not like I'll tell you right now, it doesn't affect the rest of the show. It's a very good character building moment.
So they're at Logan's birthday party, and like a bunch of things are happening and a bunch of chaos, and he decides to drag them all out. They're gonna go play some baseball. And
take private choppers to go play baseball.
Yeah, they all land in this park, and they at one point someone gets injured, I think. I can't remember exactly what happened. Why they need
Kendall has to go work.
I couldn't remember exactly which it was. But yeah,
Right.
so somebody has to leave, and then they ask this kid in the park if he wants to do it. And Roman's just like, here, you want to hit the bat? And then he says, like, if you can hit a home run, I will give you $1 million. And
Now the
then,
kid
like,
doesn't ask or anything, so it's completely unprompted. Roman just does this.
Does it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, I swear to God. And he walks across the field from the pitcher's mound, and he pulls his checkbook out, and he writes $1 million on it, and he walks over, and he's just like, all you have to do is hit a home run. And the kid actually manages to hit the ball and run to like third base before he's touched out. And
Tom, by Tom, which made me immediately hate Tom. Like, Tom's like,
yeah,
good try, kid. I'm like, why would you?
good try.
Why would he take him out? Jerk.
And then, like, even worse than that, I believe, even worse than what I'm about to say next, is that run actually did score 2 points and won the people of the game. But besides the point, he didn't hit a home run. So Roman walks up to him and he rips the check into tiny little pieces and he gives him a quarter of it. And he says, here's $250,000.
It's like 12-year-old's face, like, you messed it up. Oh, here's a quarter.
In front of his family and all this other crap, too. Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh my God, it's such a hard scene to watch. And of course, Logan like tells him good job, and he like gives them a watch that Tom got him for his birthday to the family. So that was cool, but still, that scene is just so hard to watch. It makes me want to just lay freaking Kendall out, or Roman out. Well, Kendall too. I want to punch them all.
Sure.
But except for I like Cousin Greg. And you got through zero spoilers on this because this is actually really important. But you got through the Thanksgiving episode. Cousin Greg can roll. All right, that kid don't sleep on my boy Greg. Okay, he got tricks. I love it. I like that all of them are simultaneously like very stupid, but also all of them could win. Like they kind of all have these really good underhanded tactics. And honestly, by season 3, I can tell you right now, there isn't really anyone out of the race. Anyone could probably take Logan's seat at this point. Like, and it's in I don't want to give you any spoilers, but I think that's why the show's so good is these characters are so dynamic. And I want everyone to watch it. I think it's the best. I honestly think it's the best show running right now. I don't think it's the best show, period, but I think it's the best running TV show right now, in my opinion.
I've definitely heard basically the same thing quite a bit, so I'm excited to get into the rest of it.
Dude, wait until season 3. If you think the season 1 finale is holy crap, they top it every finale. But yeah, yes, it's good.
I think we're on the fence. Taco officially on the fence about Succession. I'll be watching it. I'm going to try and fit in at least a couple episodes a week or whatever and get caught up through season 3. Hopefully long before season 4 comes out. I guess it's season just ended. Is that right?
Season 3 just ended. Yep.
Okay. 10 episode season, so it's not too hard of a, it isn't a huge slog to get through. I only got another 19 more or whatever to go. So
I was surprised by the second and third episodes because the first is pretty short compared to the other ones. Yeah. I think it hovers around like the 42-minute mark, which is like an hour-long show with commercials usually.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like all the other ones are 58, 59, 101. And I was just like, oh my God, I didn't realize how much I've been watching of this show until I was, all the way through season 1. And
I was so happy when you told me that, when you were like, oh, by the way, I just finished season 1. I'm like, I felt like it's so cool when you can when you're loving a show, but no one else is watching it. And then you finally get somebody to try it and they're like, hey, dude, I'm hooked. It's like, yes, Like I get to talk about it. You know, I'm really excited. I'm glad you guys like it a lot.
Succession is a popular show, though, right? It's a pretty successful show.
Yeah,
right?
I just don't have friends. Turns out my 1-year-old daughter doesn't like it, and my wife likes it. She watched it seasons 1 and 2. She just doesn't really talk to me.
Oh well, I get it.
We're married.
I get
She's
it.
busy talking about the kid.
Mhm.
If she was like, "Can you change his diaper?" and I'm like, "Yeah." So you want to watch Succession? She'd be like, "I'm gonna hit you. Shut up and change the diaper."
Sure. I get it.
Yeah. So essentially, to like really recap our first 3 episodes, we have like Logan has a stroke in the end of the first episode because there's this whole like the preamble is that Kendall is supposed to take over the company anyway. And Logan has devised this crazy ass plan that he's not actually going to retire. He's not letting, which is very obvious to everyone but Kendall, apparently.
Right.
Like, it's obvious from anything he said that morning that he was never planning on doing it.
I have a question for you, Daniel, and Stark, for both of you guys. What happened in this episode? I'll tell you, there's definitely catalyst, at least what most fans think, that cemented Logan's position to not step away at this point. What happened specifically in this episode that made him change his mind? Because I do think at the beginning of the episode he was okay with it.
It's got to be something Kendall did, but I can't think off the top of my head.
It's actually a combination of things.
Oh, is it paying too much or was it letting the one guy or whatever walk away from the table and then them having to go back and offer more money?
Possibly, it might be that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also what I'm about to say isn't cemented in stone, but it's what I think it is.
Yeah.
And I think it is both that, but it's not like what he paid or didn't pay. It's the fact that the guy walked away at all. Like he wanted a thing, it should have been acquired.
He didn't have that killer instinct that he needs.
Thank you. Now that's it, but it's because of a different thing. So it's all about sacrifice for the company. And it's all about that killer instinct. He left the deal to go to his father's birthday party.
Right.
That's what most people think it is, and that's the importance. Is Logan, even though Kendall's trying to go see his dad on his birthday, Logan thinks of that as such a weakness.
Yeah.
That, you want to see your dad? That he can't go close the deal, and that's why he didn't let him take over the multi-billion-dollar company. That's Logan in a nutshell, and it just sticks with that. It fits his character, and that's why I do think it's that. And it just shows you how heartless in just business oriented, how the company is literally more important than anything.
And because I believe, and not even, again, you can do both, and that's why Logan is insane. Because what Logan would have done in that situation is what were they trying to work out? It was around like 130, and then he went up to like 150 or something. Guy wasn't budging. Logan would have gone like 190, 210 just to get it done so he could get to the birthday party. In his brain, the money was not the issue. The going to the birthday party wasn't the issue.
Leaving the deal.
Yeah,
that was the issue. Yeah,
and I agree with that. I think, and then he has a stroke, and so Kendall gets to seize this opportunity anyway, because Logan has this crazy elaborate plan to pass away his voting rights to his wife and make all of his kids agree to this, and none of them want to do that. They don't really know her deal, and honestly, just by the end of season 1, I don't really know Marsha's deal yet. So I hope to find out soon.
Keep waiting.
I'm just saying this right now, she's probably not a good person.
It's unlikely, honestly, because because she's too intelligent and she knows absolutely way more than anyone gives her credit for. So she knows a lot more about Logan than
I like Marsha.
Of all the
anybody should know.
introduced in that first episode, she was probably the one I like the best.
Well, she's so cold and she's so stern, and especially the like.
I love the whispering.
Yeah.
Like
she's
the
like a consigliere to a mob
like,
boss.
Oh my god. It's terrifying. It's very French, and I like it a lot.
Is she French?
Yeah,
she is. Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know accents, man. I'm so bad at it.
Well, she speaks a lot of French for one, and two. At one point they do mention she comes from France. When
come from France,
Shiv is doing a background check on her.
So Coneheads, then they came from France too, right?
She is from the Conehead universe as well.
And yeah, so we have kind of Kendall basically stalls everybody signing this paper of Logan's long enough that he does kind of wrest control of the company. Him and Roman are kind of running it for, I think it's a day and a half. It's about a day and a half.
I do like that the second episode is a bottle episode, because why the fuck not?
Sure.
And it's all in the hospital. And the entire episode, there's this little hidden politic-y thing going on where they want to go get the papers because Roman loves his dad. And that's something, as weird as Roman is, he's very like, dad will never die. Like, there's all these little hints that he's like, he thinks of Logan as a god. He just does. And he's like, no, let's sign the papers so when he wakes up, we can say, hey, look, we did it. You know, it's like good news. So he goes and sends
Roman is Loki.
Yeah. He sends little cousin Greg, who's taller than everybody else. Whenever there's a scene with Roman and Kendall, or Greg, it's so funny because Roman comes up to like here on Greg, and then he talks down to him somehow. It's so great. He sends him to go to the apartment because somebody else wanted him to go get slippers. And he's like, hey, you grab the papers. And then he gets a call from Shiv like, hey, don't grab the papers. And he just sits there. He just doesn't leave the apartment because he doesn't know what to do. He like calls his mom. He makes a sandwich. He just like kind of lounges out because he doesn't know the right political move. Oh, it's so adorable.
I can remember him asking for the change back or whatever when she asked for his last 20 to get the coat.
And
oh my God.
I love where he does the Roman thing when he gets to the door, because at one point Roman just points at two people and he's like, you guys need to work this thing out, and he just walks away from his own mess. And so like cousin Greg tries that with the doorman and the cab driver, and it's just not working at all.
It's the funniest. Cousin Greg's got such good comedy chops, but he shows up and tries to palm the cab off to the doorman because he doesn't have any money. I told him that you were gonna pay, so really it's between you guys now. You imagine that would get you shot in New York? Like, don't do that.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting towards the end of the show, though, so we're gonna call it here. What should we watch next is about what I was gonna say. For our next watch along club, are we thinking continuing Succession? Should we poll the chat, see what they want to watch together,
or tweet at us at is it the Northern Group? Is that our new tweet?
It's Group of the North.
Group of the North. Thank you, Group of the North. Hey, look, it has a hashtag on it.
Yes, I'm Group of the North.
See, look, I have a producer. I'm all professional.
The channel's alive. Just kill it with fire.
The TV.
Yeah, tweet us if you do have a suggestion for those guys. I'm just a guess, but I am in charge of the Twitter, so I will say. I do like the 3 episode, and keep watching if you want to, because I think that's a good, because maybe it would have been interesting if one guy watched it and got hooked, and then the other guy did 3 episodes, and he's like, I do not know what you saw. Right. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why
point for sure.
we're thinking that we're either going to do it. It'll always be 3 episodes. It may be more because we plan to do these watch along book reports maybe once a month, once every 6 weeks, something like that. So there could be an occasion where we run into a show that we both get really hooked on, and we would like to discuss a season as a whole. And if you're talking about television, sometimes you do have to talk about the whole season because there's a structure to it. There's a story being told over 10, 12, 22 episodes. So
And
sometimes we will do long form reviews. Sometimes it'll just be, what are we going to watch next?
And please, somebody else besides me make a suggestion, or else I'm going to make these guys watch all of HBO. All right? I will never suggest something that isn't HBO, except for maybe Rick and Morty, Invincible. There's a couple cartoons. And that isn't a cartoon.
Fair, even better, Taco. Rick and Morty in Canada plays on Crave TV, which is the same streaming service we get all the HBO shows on. So it's not like it's super different.
HBO Max has Rick and Morty on, and I have not seen season 5. So yeah, I can't wait. It's coming out soon, so I can't wait to watch it. I watched some of season 5. I was watching it free off YouTube, and then I just gave up because that was really rough.
Guest of ours.
The same guy that
anything?
That's it.
Anything left to say on Succession other than watch it? Who is your favorite character?
Tom.
Really, Tom?
Well, there's season 3. Wait until season 3, dude.
That's a great show.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom.
St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yeah, that's it. He's from Minnesota.
Basically neighbors.
Well,
no,
I do love that.
I'm not gonna say it, but his blank never left his system, so he didn't cheat.
Okay, that's rough. Amazing.
That's one of my favorite lines ever. It's like, no, it's a closed loop. It's a closed loop.
Small spoilers warning. It's a closed loop.
Very small.
There's a word for it.
Okay, so on that horrendous
Tom, though, season 3 Tom is nothing short of Machiavellian. So wait for it. They all kind of have their moments. They all have their Machiavellian moments.
On that note, where can the public find you if they want to find you after that?
Right here. You can find me on Twitter, Mark Taco Face. Also Instagram at Mark Taco Face. I won't be on a show tomorrow. That's weird, huh? And Thursday we are doing the all-night taco stand, or as Kiwi's trying to take it over, the all-night Kiwi stand. And I have contacted some lawyers for it. Oh, shit. And she has this one. This is going to be the all-night Kiwi stand. It turns out that she has strong-armed me, sandbagged me, if you will. And so this one's going to go off without a hitch as the Kiwi stand. But I'll tell you right now, it's not going to happen next month. I'm taking it back. I've been talking about representation. Nice. Talking to representation. Yep. And yeah, but anyways, that's on January 13th. We're going to have all kinds of awesome guests. We're staying up all night. It's going to be chaotic. We're going to talk about not guilty pleasure movies, but actually good movies I genuinely think are really good that have a less than 40 on Rotten Tomatoes. And these are movies that I actually really like. And guess what? I put it on my list before I found this out, but Bob Saget's Dirty Work might be on the list.
Oh shit!
I did that before I found before his death.
Hey, Taco.
The Treasure Passing. Yep.
Or I guess more importantly, maybe I shouldn't be booing Kiwi because I should tell her that I'm available to do her Kiwi stand this Thursday because
talk to her, not me.
I'm kind of in isolation at the moment, so.
Oh shit! You too.
Yeah.
As long as you wear a mask, I don't want to catch anything.
I think
obviously
she has a distinct advantage, right? Because for you being an all-night taco stand, it's like all day.
It's all day for her. Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm gonna wake up early in the morning, have a coffee, and start this thing.
But yeah, that's where you can find me. And then also, we have, I can't speak about it, but coming up in the end of January. Well, I can speak about that. The Let's Talk About Star Wars coming up in January is going to be January 29th. It's going to be amazing. We have Thomas Harper, we have Zach Burkett, we have Marie Wilson and Kiwi playing in an Alien game. Winner gets to play for this belt. And can't speak about it, but at the end of February, we have really awesome thing coming. I can't talk about it yet. We're just getting it moving. But besides that, you can find me probably all over this channel.
I hope they're not knife fighting each other.
We're also working on a really awesome thing for the end of February that we can't talk about, but
I know.
Plans everywhere. It's amazing.
Oh, that
I can't wait. So you can find me. I'm around also on as many of these shows as my schedule permits. I run overnight on the East Coast, so I run into a lot of differences with a lot of these West Coast schedules. But you can always find me on Twitter or in the chat for a bunch of those shows, and I'm on Twitter at Corrupted Canuck. You can find that down here. And that's about it. How about you, Rob?
Guys, I'm on Twitter at Snarky Yeti. It's not like I'm a huge tweeter. I do it every once in a damn blue moon. But when I do, it's important. God damn it.
Retweet when the channel tweets.
That's what I do.
Snark. All right, good.
You know, you could always go to at Group of the North for any television show suggestions. Get us to watch something. Guys, there's a shit ton of television, and there's lots coming out all the time. I just started MacGruber. It's great. I just started watching the remake of The Wonder Years, and for a guy that doesn't like child acting, I think that show is excellent.
There's a remake of The Wonder Years?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It is freaking good. It is really good. So I'll be watching TV. I'm unfortunately feeling better, so I won't have as much time to watch TV. But when I do get a few minutes, I'm going to be tuning in. I show up on all of our additional shows every once in a blue moon. I was on the premiere of Sunday Unwind. I will be popping in, I think, to our Schmodown content when this starts back up in the next few weeks. We'll see. I'm not going to do as many goddamn shows as Taco, but very few people will be.
Ben, maybe. Kiwi, definitely.
Yeah, definitely Kiwi and Ben. They have significantly less one-year-olds.
Yes, they are definitely the Captain Americas of this team for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Will Captain Americas?
Yeah, there's multiple now.
Oh,
yes.
Good. Multiverse. It works in TV too.
So that about does it for us here on Have You Seen This? I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you tune in next week when we'll be talking. I don't know yet, honestly. Maybe we'll bust out maybe a tier list of some sorts. I've been thinking of some ideas. So we had too many comedies on our lists last time, so maybe we'll pull some out and just rank them.
Sure. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything? Have a good night, everybody. Play us out, Dave.